Okay. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express or to explain our cooperative experience. We say cooperative experience, but anyway, tomorrow it will be more the general explanation of Mondragon cooperatives. We are going to speak about the different cooperatives and the different projects that we have. And today, because the theme is potentials and limitation of cooperatives. Okay, this morning there were Professor Carlos and another people were speaking about the limitation of cooperatives. I don't want to spend a lot of time speaking about the limitation. I prefer to speak about potentials, and also I'm not going to speak too much because tomorrow I have 2 hours to explain the general organization. Okay, well, this morning, and you have a lot of information about the possible limitation of the cooperatives, the legal limitation in several countries. So the cooperative law sometimes is not very interesting to develop the cooperatives. Finance problem, the financial situation of most of the cooperatives and most of new ventures is crucial. In this case, tomorrow we can speak more, but financial problems we are resolving with the festival. 90% of our profits we reinvest inside the cooperatives in the reserve funds in order to develop new projects and new cooperatives, and that's one. Also, we have different kind of finance possibilities. For example, the first initial capital is very important. In our case, we have people who enter as a member has to put 15,000 euros, not the first time. They have, in several cooperatives, they have 36 months to put this initial capital. In another cooperatives, they have 5 years, so 60 months to put this initial capital. But this initial capital, it's important to create, to finance the company. And also we have another system to incorporate or to find finance support from, for example, we have subordinate capitals and also voluntary capitals in order to have this financial support. And of course, we have one of our cooperatives, because our cooperatives are 120 cooperatives, you can see here. One of these is the credit union. It's a credit union that is more or less important because it's the second biggest bank in the Basque Country, and in the north of Spain, from Madrid to the north, so Salamanca, Valladolid, Zaragoza, Barcelona, is the third biggest bank in that area. So we have this kind of very important support in order to help the cooperatives. And well, the Basque region, as you know, the Basque Country is in the north of Spain and in the south of France, but all these 120 cooperatives are in the Spanish Basque region, okay, in the north of Spain, okay, in Bilbao, San Sebastián, Pamplona, Vitoria, and Mondragon. Mondragon is more or less in the center of the Basque Country, and after that, small cities, Bergara, Oñati, in different cities, okay, 120 cooperatives. The name of Mondragon came from Mondragon city that started the first industrial cooperatives, and also the university, and also all the headquarters of the credit union, and most of the cooperatives are in Mondragon, but after that the cooperatives are in different places of the Basque Country. Okay. Well, and so in order to avoid this kind of limitation, the finance limitation, we in 1959 we create Caja Laboral in order to help the cooperatives with this financial support. Another limitation is the small dimensions. As you know, most of the cooperatives all over the world are very small. Well, agricultural cooperatives are going bigger and bigger, that's true. But the small dimension it's very important. But in our case, so we have 120 cooperatives, some of them small, another medium, and another big companies with 8,000 workers, 3,000 workers, 2,000 workers, 500, 200, but also one of these that has only 5 members, 5 workers. Okay, but working together, we try to overcome this or to be profitable, and in order to resolve this small dimension of most of the cooperatives, the intercooperation that we do between our cooperatives is very important. And when we say intercooperation, means that we pass people from one to the other cooperatives. Now, with the economic crisis, not all the cooperatives is going very well, and some of them, they have people redundant, but instead of being at home, they are working in other cooperatives. At this moment, we have 220. We are close to 100,000 workers, but only, it's a lot, 220 people that are relocated in another cooperatives, thanks to this intercooperation. Also, we pass money from one to the cooperatives, we put money together, but also we pass liquidity, or we pass cash in this economic crisis, in this financial crisis, we pass money. So we resolve this small dimension and this financial problem with different ways or with different tools. One of the biggest problem maybe will be that all over the world, the lack of leaders. Leaders are very important in order to create this kind of projects, and very compromised leaders is very important. In our case, we started from Father Adimendiarrieta, who was the leader that started creating the school in 1943. Now this school, it's Mondragon University, is the engineering school. And after that, in 1956, we create the first cooperatives, industrial cooperatives, that is Fagor Domestic Appliances. But leadership is very important, and after that, the founders and some other leaders were very good in order to develop the projects. So leaders are very important, and sometimes it's not easy to have this kind of leaders. If the cooperatives, we are not innovative, if the innovation is, I don't know, another thing is not important. It's very important. So we have to be innovative, but not only innovative in products, in process, but also in social innovation, organizational innovation, financial innovation, everything. Okay. And cultural ideas, cultural problems may be one of the biggest limitation of the company, of the cooperatives. Sometimes, or in most of the cases, we are thinking that working in a cooperative, we are very poor people, always in a surviving market, not competing, not being internationalized, not being leaders, and for that reason, cultural problems, it will be a big problem in order to be profitable working in cooperatives. So we think that these ideas will be much better to change, and in this case, one of the limitations it will be that we don't accept. Not in our case, I think in most of the cases, but most of the cooperativists all over the world, they are not thinking that we can be the best one. We have some cooperatives that are leaders all over the world, competing with American companies, Japanese companies, competing with a lot of different kind of cooperatives, companies. So in this case, it's possible to be the best. Why not? And as Obama said, yes, we can. Yes, we can. It's very important, and if we believe in that, it's possible. Okay, but what are the potential? What are the potential for the cooperatives? Participation possibilities. So to involve people is very, very important. In our case, we think that this is the best or the most important difference between conventional companies and worker-owner cooperatives. In our case, people participate in management, in profits, in results, because not always is profit, sometimes are losses, and in property, being ownership. This is very important to involve people, to integrate and to motivate, and in order to think in more innovation and new ways, and that's why. So participation possibility is very important, and it's one of the most important potential for cooperatives. Intercooperation between cooperatives, I told you before, that Mondragon, the most important feature of Mondragon is the real intercooperation between cooperatives. As you know, one of the basic principles of cooperatives from the International Cooperatives Alliance also is cooperation between cooperatives. That's true. But after that, how much intercooperation do you do? How many things do you cooperate with another companies? Mostly, in most of the cases, you have good relation with another cooperatives, some services putting together maybe, or training, and that's one. But in most of the cases, there is not a real intercooperation. In our case, we pass people from one to the other cooperatives, we pass managers from one to the other cooperatives, we pass money together, we pass know-how, innovation, we do offers together in order to compete all over the world. So a real intercooperation between cooperatives is a very important key to have more potentials. One person, one vote, democracy, it's very important. And in the future, in this century, in this 21st century, the democracy will be more and more important, and it's becoming more and more important. Now we cannot come back to the authoritarian situation, and that's one. And so democracy is very important in order to involve people, in order to integrate people. The centralized organization, I think that it's also it's in the same way than the democracy or than the participation. If everybody can participate, this kind of organization should be a decentralized organization. And I think that is possible. Being more decentralized, we can innovate more, we can be more competitive, and we can be more profitable. Social responsibility. There are some data from the States, in the United States of America. There is at this moment a survey that is speaking that they compare social responsibility companies, conventional companies, but being very ethical and with a high social responsibility, with another conventional companies that are not very ethical and that are not very social responsible. And in this case, these ethical and social responsible companies, conventional companies, not cooperative, conventional companies, are more profitable than not ethic or not social responsible companies. So we think that social responsibility at this moment means that it's more they are, or we can be more profitable and we can be more sustainable, and in this case connected with the last one, that is the resilience. This morning you were speaking, Bruno also was speaking about the resilience of the cooperatives, and that's true. In that, as you know, in Spain, the unemployment ratio at this moment is 25% of unemployment in Spain. In the Basque Country, it's 14,000, because the Basque Country is more industrial, and in Spain there are a big problem with the construction also, and finance problem. And in the Basque Country, close to the 50% of Spain. In our case, we have also 10%, that's true, in the areas of the cooperatives, but we are maintaining the employment. It's because the resilience of cooperatives is much higher. Of course, in each cooperative, they have to take their own decision. For example, in Fagor Domestic Appliances. Fagor Domestic Appliances is the first cooperative that started in 1956. They produce washing machine, refrigerator, dishwashers, oven, stuff. This one. They were before 4,000 worker members. At this moment, they are only 12,000 workers only. In the last 4 years, they were passing to another cooperatives, and they have a special retirement plan. Before we start retiring, when we are 60, 61, 62, we can choose to retire or no. Until 65 years old, that is compulsory. But in this case, in Fagor, we have a plan to enter as a voluntary system when you are 58 years old. So they have this plan to retire before. Also, they reduce, for example, this year, they reduce 8%, 7% the salary. So they tighten the belt in order to overcome the economic crisis. And also, they decide to reduce the hours to work. For example, in Christmas, instead of only having 3 days, they take 10 days of free. Also in Easter, another 10 days. And they were working in winter, so December, January, February, March, they were working only 4 days per week. So on Friday, they take free. Yeah, because the lack of jobs. And now they are recuperating these jobs. So in this case, it's interesting that people has to tighten the belt, and in this case, the resilience of each cooperative is much higher. And the last one, education and training development. This is very important feature of cooperatives, and we have to develop the education and training. And if we develop and if we introduce more and more the education and training possibilities, we can develop people. After that, we can develop the cooperatives, and of course, we are going to develop the society. So I think that potential are much higher than limitation, and we believe that it's possible, and it will be possible in the future, at least in this 21st century. Okay, thank you.